Hi folks, this is video number 174 and the title is My Friend and His Art. I met Bob Pugh when I started at P&G way back on October 16th, 1972. He and Kenny Roselle were my shift electrical support the entire time I worked on the production floor. That would have been about 19 years out of almost 25, as I worked day shift assignments as a maintenance planner and later as our plant's diaper training representative in Cincinnati for North American initiatives. I had pictures of Bob's paintings, but they were scattered about. I requested he send me all of them again. He did. We also compared pictures of our early days to pictures of today. I surely didn't picture this result in the mirror back then. It was between my 17-year-old senior picture and my senior picture of 72 years. Wow. This is a picture of Bob in his early days. Next is the note he sent along with his pictures. Bob wrote, "I was just sitting here thinking how the years fly by. On this date, Veterans Day, 1956, it was a Sunday. I enlisted in the Air Force. I had just received a discharge from the Navy Reserve at the convenience of the government to enlist in the Air Force. I, along with another group of enlistees, were flown from Wilkes-Barre to Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, for boot camp. From Texas, I was sent to Scott Air Force Base in Illinois for school. Then it was off to England for 3 years. Now, 65 years later, here I am, almost 84, sitting here trying to be an artist like Hunter Biden, but I still don't have any takers for my scratchings. Also, I have never smoked the crap that he does. When not painting, I spend warm sunny days on the beach waiting for Bernie to stroll along the shore, scaring everyone in sight. You never know who or what you'll see along the boardwalk. So that's life in the fast lane. I'm thankful for what I have. Remember this when you leave. Bob." Bob has painted nice land and waterscapes, but he's had a number of requests from friends and family to paint their dogs. So we will start with them. Some pictures will show the progression to completion. Enjoy. This is the first of 2 basset hounds. This one is a medium brown color, a little black, and white feet. And he's wearing a harness, a black harness. It comes up from under his chest and wraps around his neck. And the background on this dog is a light green. His second basset hound is a lighter color, really light sandy color. A little bit of black around the head, white feet. And this one's wearing a harness as well, but it's a little different style, a little wider, and it's burgundy color. And the background is a similar light green on this painting as well. This next picture is of a little dog whose back legs are disabled. He's rusty tan color, and I think he might be part Chihuahua or something. It looks tiny. But under his back end, he's got a little 2-wheel carriage. Well, I guess you could say this is a 2-wheel drive puppy. This picture is of an older dog. His muzzle is gray, his chin is white, similar to my buddy Jake. Shape of his eyes tells me he's probably got a lot of Doberman in him. And his color is mostly black Got a little tan on his belly and on his neck and his front legs. And his chest is white. Then he's laying down amongst some flowers that are red with yellow centers and some really dark green leaves. And the background on this one is like a light cream color. This is a picture Bobby sent me for a little input. It's of course you can tell it's not completed yet. But what struck me is Bobby's getting really good at eye definition. I can't draw eyes for anything, no facial expression. I've tried a number of times, and whether it's a person or an animal, I always end up looking like a raccoon that ran into the side of a truck. Yep, this is another basset hound. Black back, brown ears, white face, old dog, and big eyes. You know, the eyes never change. Our faces all get scruffy and wrinkly, and so do dogs. This dog's got a white face and big eyes. And the background on this dog is medium blue. And this is the finished product of the one before. Bobby's got the legs painted in. Front left is white, and the right leg is black, and he's got white paws. And what it says here, his name is Mr. Henry. This next picture is of an English Springer Spaniel. English Springer Spaniels are black and white. Welsh Springers are liver and white. Although I've seen them shown together in dog shows. I guess just under a category of Springer. I had a black and white Springer named Rocky. He was trained in Wisconsin or Illinois. And I got him from a friend, because a friend didn't have time to take him hunting. I had some great times with that dog. He taught me how to hunt birds. There were times when if you flush a pheasant and the thing wouldn't get any higher than about 2 feet off the ground, and Rocky'd be right after him. So I'd just holler, "Rocky, fetch!" He'd just jump up and grab it and bring it back to me. There was a number of times I came home with 2 pheasants and never fired it around. Anyway, English Springer. Black ears, white muzzle, black around the eyes, brown eyebrows, white chest and shoulders. Good looking dog. On a light lavender background. This is an Australian Shepherd. Reddish head, white markings on his face, and white body. Belonged to Bobby's sister and brother-in-law. This picture appears to be of a yellow lab. Not a puppy. He's older. No white on his muzzle as yet, but he's an older dog. Light around the eyes. He's laying flat. He's facing front, but his paws are faced to the left. So he has his muzzle resting on his left paw. And he's in a background of a medium blue. Nice contrast to the light tan of the dog. This is the last doggy picture. Little white dog standing on his hind legs, reaching up onto some kind of surface. He's got his left paw on a red ball. White dog, blue collar. Not exactly sure what kind it is, but seems to be a smaller dog. And his background is a light blue. Now, here are the rest. Enjoy. This is the only black and white in the group. I believe Bobby told me this is one of his neighbors. Strongly built man, broad-shouldered, strong arms. His both arms resting on a table, and it looks like he has a glass or a cup or something in his left hand. Shirt sleeves are unbuttoned and flipped back to the middle of his forearms, and the shirt or jacket he has on has a breast pocket on the left side. This man has a very full, strong, dark beard, wearing sunglasses, closely cropped hair, and he's wearing a driving hat, you know, with the little berm on it. I've got a couple of those. And this is only black and white, and the individual stands out quite well because Bobby did it on a mottled gray background. Looks good. This next picture is of a door mounted into a masonry wall. The wall is stucco covered, adobe colored, and the door is two parts. Looks like it opens from the center out, but it's a normal sized door opening. To the left of the door is about a knee-high blue bush in a green basket. About halfway up on the left door, the stucco is chipped away. It goes up the side of the door and over the top to about the middle of the door, exposing old red brick. This next picture is a surf picture. A couple large rocks in the foreground, one to the left and one to the right. A little sandy beach between them where the water spills out. But the waves are crashing up on the rocks. Blue water, white caps, a little mountain or island out in the distance, and a nice blue-purple sky. Looks good. This picture is of a man-made dam. Nice waterfall over the center, and there's rocks on each side of the waterfall, all uniform size. Tells me it's man-made. And as the water comes down from the dam, it comes out to forms a stream coming towards the edge of the picture, bottom edge of the picture. To the left of the stream, there are various sized bushes. Some of them have little flowers, some have little red berries. To the right, you got a little scraggly weeds, and then there's a footpath. A footpath going out to the big rock that's protruding from the right, about halfway down the stream. And just where the path turns onto the rock, there's a decent sized tree there. The sky is a nice sky blue with some scattered cirrus clouds. The stream shows some erosion marks from high fast water. Not real high, maybe 6-8 inches worth of erosion. Nice combinations. This is Bobby's first attempt at this. It's not complete. When I show you the next one, you'll see the changes he made. It's looking downhill at a couple cottages, footpath. This one's coming from the center down. A nice back bay, some high white cliffs eroded by high water and storms, and a medium green topping on the cliffs. This is the finished product of the previous one. See, the roofs are defined, the windows and doors are defined, and the two little cottages down on the shore. Now the footpath with stepping stones comes from the right side down. It's lined by some little red bushes, and there's a bank off each side of the path. There's like moss and grass, and there's a couple of rocks, weeds growing up. Yeah, and you got the shoreline. Looks like a couple of little boats down there, tucked down to the shore. Got water, a few white caps, and off in the distance you have those white cliffs eroded from heavy weather. And this time they have a darker green topping. And the sky is just flat out sky blue. This picture is done with a bit of a blurred edge. Nice effect. It's a rather still pond. In the foreground there look to be like pink tulips growing around the edge of the pond. The pond has some duckweed on it. High grass on the far side. And also on the far side is a small stone church. Has a couple round top doors, a couple of windows, and it is the trees in the yard and everything are all, the church and the trees are all reflected nicely on the water. And in the distance behind the church and the trees are some pretty rugged looking mountains. They're done in like a gray purple color. Of course they blend up into what looks like a fog at the top. Nice touch. This is a snow scene, a little cabin in the woods. There's a few evergreens on each side of the walking path going down to the cabin. In real life the cabin would be about 75 yards away, I'd say. Has a good abundance of snow on the top, smoke out of the chimney, and it's overcast, but you can tell the lights are on in the cabin through the door and the window. Mountains off in the back, tree covered. Nice. This is one of my favorites. A little boy walking away from the bottom edge of the picture. He's walking along the edge of the wave wash on the shore from the ocean. Small white caps coming in, breaking off on the shore. The light on the waves is really nice. A lot of little white caps coming in. You can see them for a good distance. Then the water just turns to a little bit of dark blue. Then the sky is powder blue. And a small strip of the sky is right at the top of the painting. The little boy looks to be about maybe 7 or 8 years old. Of course, walking away, so I'm looking at his back. With dark hair, had a gray hoodie, hood flopping on his back, striped shirt hanging out from under his hoodie, right at his drawers. I think it's a shirt. And he's wearing shorts, and he's got little black shoes on. Nice picture. This portrait is of a great blue heron standing about ankle deep water. Behind the heron are some reeds, and behind the reeds are some fairly tall bushes, and around the edge of the bushes on the left side, a little bit on the top, you can see a darker blue sky. You see the water rippling past his legs. Coloration on this bird is pretty exact. I've seen a few of these up close and personal. I've got one comes into my little water hole down the back once in a while and thins out the frog population. Pretty exacting. Looks pretty good. This is another snow scene. Got a little snow-covered road going up to a like a cabin-type farmhouse. Farmhouse is kind of L-shaped, but the L part is looks like a garage. Has two chimneys. You got smoke coming out of both chimneys at about a 45-degree angle to the left. And then there's another outbuilding. And behind the outbuilding is what appears to be a barn roof and a silo. About in the middle of the picture on the right hand side there's a single tree. On the back, from the road going up to the back side of that tree is a single rail fence. And across the road there's like a maple tree standing out there alone. Yeah, and the sky is elongated clouds going the same direction as the smoke out of the chimney. This is a painting of a building. Appears to be an old English type building. Brownstone bricks. Appears to be a wooden shingle roof. And this is like a double block building. Two homes connected in the middle. There are two 12-pane windows side by side in the first floor, and a matching setup in the second floor. So there are 24 windows in the bottom and 24 windows in the top. These are small windows. And like I have in my house, which still has Indian glass in it. It's not pure, you can see disformities when you look at it. And nice flower bed of various types, and a little taller bush with pink flowers on it. Goes up to the first set of the windows on the second floor. And between the flower beds there are two entrance doors, one for each half. And beyond the second door there's another flower bed, and you can see similar windows painted off in that distance view there. The small road in front of this building is a pretty well worn paved road. And to the right of the paved road is a cable fence, kind of guardrails gardening system we used to have around here years ago when we were growing up. Now they've gone to straight steel guide rails now versus the cables. From the fence, it'll drop down to a smaller path, be a walking path, maybe a horse trail. And at the far end of the building, there's a stand of tall trees that the road just kind of disappears into the trees. And above the trees, looks like fog over mountains, a heavy fog over mountains. Interesting concept. You can see at the top of the easel Bobby was using for a reference for this. He's standing on a dock looking out over the bay, sunset. Brilliant oranges, little pinks, grays, white, and there's some blue. And the water line is broken by a small, thin mass of land dividing the sky from the water. Nice bright colors. This is another surf and shore picture. Waves coming in uniformly, one right after the other, breaking over a small ridge of rocks, larger rocks behind it, and some sand. And there's some seagrass in the foreground. Sky is a lighter color, a little blue, and little blue-gray clouds scattered about. This picture is of a couple shorebirds, like sandpipers. You can tell by the tracks in the foreground that they've been running around for a while. Now they're traveling from the center of the picture to the right. There's no sky in this picture, but you can see the reflection on the water. A wave wash, all outlined in white, and the birds are silhouetted against the colors. Colors are pink and blue and a little gray. Nice evening sunset colors on the sand. This picture has a unique Christmas decoration in it. Looks like a evergreen bough that's decorated, hanging off a windowsill outside of a brick building. The bricks are kind of a lightish pink color. It looks like a solid masonry building because this building is window in the building is set back a number of inches into the stone. The framework of the 4-panel window is a dark brown. And like I said, this evergreen branch is all decorated. Kind of neat. And this picture is one of those blurred edges ones again that Bobby has done. It looks pretty nice. If I remember correctly, Bobby told me another friend of his requested this picture for a friend of his, or a relative of his friend. The main theme of the picture is a cowboy riding his horse along a trail. The cowboy and the horse and the ground and forefront are all black, silhouetted against the brilliance of the sky and the mountains in the background. In the silhouette of the horse, you can see the reins going up from the bridle, and the reins going to the hands of the cowboy. You can see the bottom of his boots in the stirrup just under the horse's belly. Really nice. In the background, we got some red mountains. Lower mountains are red, and higher mountains are purple. And if in the far distance you got a little bit of a gray mountain, then you can make out a couple of buttes, similar to what you would see in my favorite place in this country is Monument Valley. Sky, bright orange, light pink, and a few scattered white stringy clouds going across. This is another snow scene. There's a road that needs plowing, going from the bottom left to the upper center right. Far side of the road, there's a couple of trees, and behind the trees there's a stone wall paralleling the road, and there's a few bushes on the other side of the stone wall and a couple of young trees. And it looks like the side hill is terraced. There's 1, 2, 4 stone walls going perpendicular to the road. And on the forefront of the painting is, on the opposite side of the road, is a two rail fence with a couple bushes growing around it. Typical winter sky, a little grays, little pinks, blues, a little bit of yellow. This is a stream going through a heavily wooded area on the edge of some erosion marks, a couple spots, but mostly a lot of rocks. Where the water is impacting the rocks, of course there's white edges on the water. And as the stream gets towards the bottom of the page, there's a large rock on the right-hand side with a protrusion, like a little peninsula off it, and it appears to be dividing the stream into two. Left side of the stream coming forward and the right stream going off to the right at a 45-degree angle. Well, this one's a little bit different style. Looks like a number of boats all tucked in along the shore, and 3 boats out in the bay, little sailboats. And off in the distance is it's like the outline of a city. The sky is mottled red and orange and yellow, maybe a little tannish yellow. Water reflection mostly red. Interesting picture. I have to ask Bob if that's a watercolor. That's what it struck me at first, but I'm not sure. It's been interesting to see Bob progress over the last few years. His detail work is getting quite good. The next picture that'll be coming up will be from his latest work. It looks pretty darn good to me. There'll be 5 segments to it showing the progression he went through to create the final product. This first segment shows some water, and a boat is sitting at a 45-degree angle near the shoreline. It's a single-seat rowboat with an anchor line going down into the water near the shore. This view would be as if you were standing on like a 15 or 20-foot high bank looking down onto the water and into the boat. This second segment shows a tree branch coming from the upper right side of the picture. Tree branch is coming down at about a 30-degree angle, and it's very sharp. Good definition on the branches, as well as the small growth coming off the 2 main beams. This third segment shows another branch coming from the upper right corner. Comes out pretty much straight. Then another branch coming down from the center at about a 45-degree angle. Again, is very sharp as far as the main beams, as well as the small branches feeding off of them. In this fourth segment, Bob has added 2 branches coming down, of course. All the branches are in, strongly defined. And he's added little white flowers on the end of all those little twigs. Looks pretty good. A lot of painstaking work here. And this is the finished painting. You can see that he went along and highlighted all those little buds with a touch of red or pink. A lot of work here. A lot of work. He also elected not to mount it in a frame, but to paint a frame around it. Really makes the picture pop. Reminds me of the days of on the old rope swing over at Lake Sheridan from your grandfather's place. A long time ago. Back a couple years when he was doing this silhouette, Bobby and I had a mustache growing contest. His trimmer slipped. I won. Thanks, Bob. Well done and looking good. All the best, my friend. All the best.